उसी बांका में कार्यरत डॉक्टर आदित्य प्रकाश व्याकरण विभाग आप सभी का स्वागत करते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है। पहली बात तो यह है कि शिक्षा हमारे जीवन का एक महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा है। शिक्षा शक्ति, धन, ज्ञान है। शिक्षा आपकी अच्छे मित्र हैं, क्योंकि शिक्षा हमेशा प्रत्यक्ष और अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से आपकी मदद करती है। संस्कृत साहित्य में कहा गया है, ज्ञानेन हीना पशुभिः समानाः, अर्थात ज्ञान के बिना मनुष्य पशु के समान है। ज्ञान एक ऐसी कुंजी है जिससे दुनिया के सारे ताले खोल सकते हैं। अर्थात ज्ञान के द्वारा हम जीवन के सारी समस्याओं का हल कर सकते हैं, आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। सर, आपने एक शिक्षार्थी के रूप में अपने सह शिक्षार्थियों यानी अपने छात्रों की ठोस नींव बनाने पर बहुत जोर दिया। आपने विद्यार्थियों के साथ पिछले 21 वर्षों के जुड़ाव के दौरान उनसे अधिक लाभ प्राप्त हुआ है। फील्ड वर्क आपका जुनून बना हुआ है और अपने पड़ोस, समाज और अपने गांव को समझना आपका मनुष्य मुख्य उद्देश्य है। जाहिर तौर पर मनुष्य और पर्यावरण का अंतर संबंध ज्ञान की खोज का मुख्य केंद्र बिंदु है। छोटा ही सुंदर है, छोटा ही सुंदर है में विश्वास रखने वाला चीजें विश्व स्तर पर और कार्य स्थानीय स्तर पर करने वाला आप हैं। आपकी शिक्षा दीक्षा भी बहुत सर्वोत्तम रही है। आपने माध्यमिक परीक्षा 1986 ईस्वी में उत्तीर्णता प्राप्त की है। SSC प्लस 2 1989 ईस्वी में प्राप्त की है। स्नातक ऑनर्स की डिग्री AMU अलीगढ़ विश्वविद्यालय 1992 में उत्तीर्णता प्राप्त की है। मास्टर डिग्री MA JNU दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय से 1994 में हासिल किए हैं। MTech PG डिप्लोमा CEPT अहमदाबाद से 1996 में डिग्री हासिल किए हैं तथा PhD की उपाधि NBU दार्जिलिंग विश्वविद्यालय से 2012 में हासिल किए हैं। सर, आपका शिक्षण अनुभव लगभग 27 वर्षों के आसपास रहा है। आपने SK कॉलेज कामाख्यागुड़ी जलपाईगुड़ी में व्याख्याता के रूप में 2 वर्ष 1999 तक किए हैं। मालदा कॉलेज मालदा में सहायक प्रोफेसर और एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर के रूप में 17 साल 1999 जून से 2015 तक कार्य किए। मालदा कॉलेज मालदा में प्रिंसिपल के रूप में जुलाई 2015 से जनवरी 2016 तक 6 महीने पद पर रहे। 12 जुलाई 2016 से भूगोल विभाग आलिया विश्वविद्यालय कोलकाता में एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर के रूप में कार्यरत रहे। फिर 12 जुलाई 2019 से आलिया विश्वविद्यालय कोलकाता में प्रोफेसर पद पर कार्यरत हैं। सर, आपका औद्योगिक अनुभव बहुत ही बेहतरीन रहा है। औद्योगिक अनुभव के रूप में अहमदाबाद, पुणे, बंगलोर और हैदराबाद की सापेक्ष प्रतिस्पर्धाओं को मापने से संबंधित सिटी मॉनिटर तैयार करने के रूप में रहा। विशेषज्ञता के क्षेत्र में भी आपने जनसंख्या और वस्ती भूगोल, पर्यावरण और सतत विकास, नक्शानविशी, जलवायु विज्ञान, शहरी भूगोल, शहरी क्षेत्र योजना, राजनीतिक भूगोल इत्यादि बहुत ही बेहतरीन रहा।
Thank you, Dr. Aditya Prakash ji, for giving detailed profile of our honorable speaker, Professor AKM Anwaruzzaman, Alia University, Kolkata. Welcome, sir. On behalf of UGC HRDC University of Allahabad, I welcome you on this session. So over to you for your proceedings. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nitikant ji, Deputy Director and Course Coordinator of 15th Guru Dakshata Program, and obviously the Director of UGC HRDC Allahabad University. This is probably 5th or 6th time that I am delivering lecture on behalf of UGC HRDC Allahabad University, along with few other universities like Kolkata University, North Bengal University. I used to regularly speak in the FIP and refresher course program. But it's true that only few years back, like till 2012, I used to be one of the participants in this type of program. And for last few years, 6 years, I am delivering lectures in this type of program. Very frank, sometimes I listen from the participants in FIP and refresher program. Some people think that this program is not that effective. Some people think
Sir, your voice is not clear.
or low. Is it breaking?
Your voice is breaking, sir, actually.
Is it clear now? Hello.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sometimes actually, sometimes because of the network problem, it happens. Anyway,
or you can switch off. You can switch off your camera so that network connection would be proper. Maybe.
Okay, fine. If that improves, no problem. I'm not that eager to show my face. Anyway,
but still, sir, it is not clear.
One sec. Let me check my.
Yes, sir.
Let me check. Actually, I'm working with my mobile data. I don't know.
Okay. Now it is clear. Now it is very fine. Please.
It improved now?
Yes, sir.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, sir. It is very clear now.
Okay, fine. I hope that it will work. So what I was saying is that as a participant, I found this type of program to be beneficial, and I have strong faith in myself that the program will benefit the participants, student participants also. Now it depends on my capability. If I am having good capability, probably it will my message will be communicated to the participants in a effective way, and participants will be also eager to accept it and gain benefit out of it. So the topic that I have communicated from Nitikant ji is let me share my screen so it will be
Yes, sir.
easier.
Yes, sir. Please. Please
Let me share my screen. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. One minute.
Okay,
Please
sir.
on your video, sir.
I'm doing that. Oh, my video. Let me do that. First, let me just share my screen. Then I'll do.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is visible.
Is my slide visible now?
No, sir. Your slide is not visible yet. Your screen is visible, but your slide is not.
Okay. Is it visible now?
No, sir.
Oh.
Sir, I think instead of entire screen, you select a window. Yes, yes, sir. It is visible now.
Fine.
Yeah.
So,
If it is possible, make it on full screen mode.
Yeah, it has been done. I think
but it is not.
I have made it full screen.
Actually, sometimes it happens when you go through the window. If you share through entire screen, then this type of problem may be solved, because now we can see not in an entire screen.
Okay.
Full screen.
Let me go for the entire screen then.
Yes, sir. Then it will
Entire
be
screen. Okay, fine.
entire screen.
Is it full screen now?
Yes, sir. Now it is on full screen.
Okay. Fine. So, dear participants, the topic that I have communicated to Dr. Nitikant ji is population growth, sustainability, and reaping demographic dividend. Now, why I have chosen this topic and what is the purpose behind it is, like, whatever incidents that you find in India or abroad also, you will be finding that in the center, at the center stage, it is the population. All planning, the decision making that is happening, keeping population in the center, at the center stage, always it happens like this. And this population creates sometimes lot of disputes, lot of controversies, because the data, sometimes the population related data, people are not having proper access to it. Sometimes population related data are not regularly collected, regularly it is not like widely dispersed, and because of that, different kind of misconceptions are there in the society, and as a result you are having different kind of division and mistrust and misconception in the society that creates a lot of problem, particularly when demography is being used for some kind of political purpose. When the demography is being politicized, then it creates very severe kind of problem. So, keeping this thing in view, or this type of context in view, I have chosen this topic that I will be trying to trying to communicate to you some of the aspects of population growth, how population growth is happening, and then what is the regional kind of scenario, and then what are the factors leading to which can be factors also along with to plan our demography. We are in a
सर आपकी आवाज बहुत ब्रेक हो रही है.
Oh my God. One second, then let me change my network then. Please hold on for a minute.
Yes, sir.
কিন্তু এটা মনে হয় এতে হবে না, তো এইটা এখানে লাগা। ফাইন।
सर सर प्लीज एक निवेदन है, अगर हिंदी संभव हो सके तो कृपया हिंदी में बताएं, क्योंकि हम लोग जैसे थोड़ा इन शब्दावलियों से बहुत ज्यादा परिचित नहीं है, इसलिए अगर हो पाए तो।
एक्चुअली मैडम मैं तो हिंदी भाषी हूँ नहीं. My mother tongue is Bengali, and my education, my institution is encourages us to speak in only English, but that is fine. लेकिन क्या है कि ये जो टर्मिनोलॉजीज है उसका हिंदी बोलना मेरे लिए थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम ही है, because I am not familiar with. But still, see, madam, what I'll do, if you have really problem with any terminology or any concept, I'll certainly try to explain, and I will explain in Hindi. I'll try to explain in Hindi. Okay. So my sincere request to you, you please listen it carefully. And at the end, we'll have discussion. And when I will be having discussion, I will try to speak maximum in Hindi, so that whatever doubt you are having, I will be in a position to clarify. Okay, I will try to clarify at least. So what I was, and maybe that in between I will be speaking little bit of Hindi also, whatever little I can do. So what I was saying is that in our society, we are having quite a few myths. I am telling it, I am terming it to be myth because the belief that the people are having, the society is having, it is not substantiated by data. Data doesn't show that. Data doesn't say that. Data says something else, but people believe something else. And because of that, I am saying that these are the myths. So one myth, as I told you at the beginning, that population is a very controversial kind of thing. Lot of implications are there in the society related to population. So like people are having in India, many people believe that Muslim population growth rate is very high, rapidly it is growing. And because of that, in near future, few years to come, India will be a Muslim dominated country. But it is not at all true. Demographers, no demographer says so, no prediction says so, but still large number of people are having that kind of idea. People are also having idea that in India, population explosion is happening. A huge population growth rate is there. That is also a myth. That is not also correct. If you see the data for last few years, you will be finding that this is also not correct. Every point I will try to prove it with the data. Okay, but this is not my primary purpose of this presentation. I am saying these things because that will help you to understand why population related informations are essential, and people have good knowledge, good information related to population. After all of us are teachers, so we are having, we have to shoulder large responsibility to convince people, to convince the misled people. We have to create a situation and circumstances where people will not be having misconceptions. So because of that, I am telling so. Similarly, like birth control measures, whether like birth control measures to be thrusted on the people, or people will be voluntarily accepting birth control measures so that the population can be controlled. So we'll see over a period of time, when I will be presenting you different data, you will be in a position to understand that. There is a belief in large number of experts that India is in danger of losing demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? When we entered, what is the implication? I will be discussing it. But many experts believe that we are not in a position to reap the benefit of demographic dividend. Some people even today believe that large population is the strength of the country, and many people believe that the population is the primary deterrent factor for development. जैसे कि लोग कहते हैं कि अगर ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन है तो आपका देश तरक्की नहीं कर सकता है. That is the popular belief. तो इस संदर्भ में हम कोशिश करेंगे, we'll try to see whether these beliefs are true or not. So whether population and development are related or not, yes, population and development are related, but the way we see, the way we generally believe, population is not related to development that way. You have to try to understand what is the, not only the quantity of population, but one has to understand that what is the quality of population, what kind of demographic structure is there, what is the distributional pattern, what is the migration pattern. These things one has to understand. Whether we are properly planning to reap the demographic dividend, to get the benefit of demographic dividend, that is a very, very serious question that we have to ask and we have to probe. Then whether as a nation, we are investing sufficiently on the social sectors like health, education, training, and skill development or not. So the investment is adequate or not, that is the thing that we have to understand. And then whether population can cause to a serious kind of problem in the sustainability or not, that we'll be trying to see. Now, if you are going by only GDP per capita, gross domestic product per capita, if you are observing only that, if you are judging only by that data, then probably higher the population, your per capita GDP will be low. So that will lead to some kind of underdevelopment. But the development cannot be actually measured in terms of GDP per capita. There are many other factors which help you to better understand and better measure of development. So if it is like physical quality of life index, if it is human development index, if it is gender development index, and then there are several other ways also to understand in terms of mortality rate, in terms of health services availability, the nutrition condition that is there, and then educational attainment that is happening in the society, the literacy rate that we are having. These things are much more important than this GDP per capita. When our government proudly say that we are going to be like 5 trillion economy and 7 trillion economy, fine, that is not a problem. If we are having 5 trillion to 7 trillion economy, that is fine. But whether this 7 trillion economy, whether people in general are getting benefited with this 7 trillion economy or not, that is a very serious kind of important question, and that will be reflected only through the quality of life and human development index and mortality, nutrition availability, and education and all. Now, when you are having high growth rate of population, then naturally there will be stress on the resources. There will be over exploitation of resources. Some resource will be depleted, some resources will be like exhausted also. If you are having large population, that will be creating a problem in terms of releasing more and more pollutant in the environment. There will be global warming, there will be climate change, extreme weather events will be there, food security will be lowered down, climate refugee will be there. There is no doubt about it. But the way we blame population, that might not be full story. That might not be fully true story. There are many other things behind the curtain which are playing the role. If we are not trying to understand that, then there will be a misconception about the population and development relationship. Now, if we see the population growth of the world, we'll be finding that the high growth rate of population is the recent phenomena. It is only the few centuries phenomena that the population growth rate is happening at a very faster rate. But for long period of time, we had some kind of stationary kind of population or population growth, if it all was there. It was very low growth rate of population. Now, why it is happening? Because we are having something called demographic transition. So in demographic transition, what happens in the earlier stage, we had very high birth rate and we had very high death rate also. And as a result, we had the balance, that is the net growth of population was very low. And that can be seen from here. You can see the growth rate is very low because we had very high birth rate, high death rate, and the balance, that is the net growth rate, was very low. As society progressed over a period of time, you are having improvement in the health services, you are having food security, you are having better shelter, you are in a position to save yourself from the vagaries of nature, and as a result, death rate actually reduced substantially. But still, birth rate continued to be high. So high birth rate and lowered down death rate or reduced death rate, that is the time when you are having this net growth rate started increasing. So in the modern society, when you are having very low death rate you are in a position to control death rate, but birth rate continued to be high, and as a result, you are having this shooting up of population, very high growth rate of population over a period of time. But that will not continue for long period of time, and that has not continued for long period of time, that you can see from this graph. So you are having so many years of gap for doubling of population. So this is the double period, 1534 to 1737. So over nearly 200 years time, you require to double your population, the world population. And then for 1737 to 1803, again 260 years. Sorry, this is 590. I'm sorry, this is 594 years. It took from population to grow from 0.375 to 0.75 billion. And the next doubling period is 260 years. 260 years time to double the population. And you can see that slowly and slowly the gap is reducing. So next doubling period is on 25 years, next doubling period is 76 years, next doubling period is 47 years. And we are having the narrowest period, that is 37 years. It took only 37 years to double the population. Now, after that, you can see that the doubling period again increasing from 37 to 48 to 70 and 109 years. That means the population growth rate was higher, and now population growth rate has lowered down, and as a result, you are having the wider doubling period. So what I wanted to communicate to you is that this population growth rate, which ordinarily people believe that this population explosion is happening everywhere, including India, and like there will be some kind of doomsday because of growth of population. It is probably not true. At least data doesn't say so. So you are having a time period around year 2000 where you had the highest growth rate, and after that you can say the growth rate had slowed down. This is TFR, the curve showing the TFR, that is total fertility rate. For the non-technical person who are not associated with demography and all, let me tell you, TFR is basically, you can say, it is the average number of children of a woman. So which was near about 6 per woman in the year somewhere around 1880 in India. That figure continue, more or less that figure continue up to somewhere around 1970 or so. But after that, you can see that the TFR has drastically reduced, and by the year 1920, you are having NFS data, and unfortunately we don't have next census data of 2021, but the NFHS data says that our TFR has reduced to now 1.9. And for your information, 1.9 TFR is below the replacement level of TFR. Replacement level TFR means when on an average a woman is having 2.1 baby, that is the sign of stable population. If you are having lower than 2.1, then that will be the depopulation kind of scenario, or the population will reduce. So as per NFHS data, we have already reduced our TFR to 1.9. Now, one confusion might be there among the participants. Dear friends, there is something called demographic inertia. So because of demographic inertia, in spite of having TFR little below 2.1, few decades, on or 1.5 decades, the population of India will increase because of demographic inertia. But by, let's say, around 2035 to 40, the India's population is bound to reduce. It will reduce because TFR has already come down to 1.9. So the myth that the population growth rate is very high in India and it is going to be the population explosion kind of situation, it is probably not true. This is the growth rate of population, you can say, during 1800 to 2016. You can say this is the period where the growth rate is very high. The curve is very sharp, steep. but then it is going to be flattening, and it has the growth rate has actually reduced. You can see from other curves. Let's say this is the India curve, population growth, including the projected growth. So you can see that population growth is actually by the year 21,000, the population of India will reach to somewhere around 1.53 billion, and certainly it will be the reduced condition from 1.7 billion. So 1.7 billion somewhere around 2055 or something, or 2060, that is the estimation, but it is bound to go down and it will reach to 1.53. So the apprehension of some people that the population will continuously increase in India and it will be population explosion kind of situation, that is not at all true. This curve shows the population, total population, as well as decadal growth rate. So every 10 years, what is the population growth, you can see. And the highest growth rate we had reached to somewhere around 24.83 in the year 1971. So 71-61 census, we had the highest decadal growth rate. For 10 years, this is the growth rate. So annually, you can say 2.4 or 2.5, something like that. And after reaching that peak, you can see that the population growth rate is declining. Okay. So though the absolute population is increasing, but since population growth rate is declining, in future, as I told you, around 10, 15, 20 years, it will start declining, because we have already achieved a TFR of 1.9. Now, this is up to 2011 census data. 2021 census data we do not have, unfortunately. If you see if census is conducted, you will be finding that the decadal growth rate has further down, and there are estimations that it will be somewhere around 13% decadal growth rate in 2021. So the myth of India having a very, very serious problem of very high growth rate of population is probably not true, because data at least doesn't say so. So again, you see 1901 to 2011, you can see the growth rate of population is declining over different decades. I will skip this, because this is basically the difference, the comparison between total fertility rate. These are the total fertility rate, and these are crude birth rate. So total fertility rate is better measurement of fertility when you are comparing different regions, different community. So total fertility rate is better measurement. If you are talking about the country as a whole, all the communities taken together, then CBR may be used. So by the year 2013, our fertility rate TFR reduced to 2.3. And as I told you that by 2019-20, as per NFHS data, it is 1.9. Now, this high fertility, which is a concern for the country, for many people, particularly for our politicians, is a major point of concern. And all of you will be familiar that there is private bill that is introduced in the parliament. And there is a proposal that there has to be some population control bill, and population, I mean, through enactment or through passing of act, population has to be controlled in the country. Now, this particular slide show you the number of districts where you are having fertility rate, total fertility rate more than 3. I told you, I hope that you remember, that the replacement level of fertility is TFR is 2.1. If you are having 2.1, population will neither increase nor reduce. But these are the some of the states where you are having large number of districts where the TFR is more than even 5. So 3 and above TFR districts, you are having 57 districts in Uttar Pradesh, 37 districts in Bihar, 14 districts in Rajasthan, 25 districts in Madhya Pradesh, 2 districts in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Assam. Assam is only state which is beyond this Hindi speaking region. So it is in the Hindi speaking region and surrounding area where you are having very, very large number of districts. There are pockets where you are having this total fertility rate is much higher than the replacement level. And these districts actually contribute 44% of the country's population. Now, I hope that you will realize and you will agree with me that the overall population control bill, what we are talking about, that may not be required, because you can see that there is no district beyond this Hindi heartland and Hindi speaking world, Hindi speaking states, where you are having such a high fertility. None of the southern states, and even the many eastern states also, they are not having high fertility rate. So there are some other problems that we have to investigate and we have to deal with if we are in a position to properly tackle those problems which are encouraging the fertility. We will be in a position to control fertility as well as population growth. So I will be in coming slides, I will tell you. So there is a quotation. So significantly, the decline in decadal growth rates has been sharper among the Muslims than among the Hindus over past 3 decades. So if you see last 3-decade data, you will be finding, and this is none other than Population Foundation of India Executive Director says, Poonam Mutreja. So it is the Population Foundation of India, they are saying that the growth rate of Muslims, declining rate of growth rate of Muslims is much sharper, much higher than Hindu rate of decline of fertility in India for last 3 decades. So the popular belief that the Muslim growth rate is very high, and because of that, the country within some years of time, country will be a Muslim dominated or something like that. That is probably not true. Now, as I was telling you, this NFHS data of 1920 data is available. This map is based on that. So 1.9 is very close to 2. So if you are considering this 2 to be the average scenario, you can see it is the Hindi speaking world where you are having states where you are having fertility which is either more than 2 or very close to 2. But it is the other regions, like all southern states, you see 1.8, 1.7, 1.8, West Bengal 1.7 and all. So the problem of high growth rate of population is actually lying in this region. And there are certainly, it is not demographic. There are some other reasons I will tell you. And there are prescriptions also for that. Not through enactment, parliamentary act is not required. One should have good intention to control the population. Population will be controlled, but one has to be little sincere. One has to spend money for the sectors where you require to spend money. Population will be automatically controlled, and that has happened in many states in India and many countries in the world, and it is experimented truth. If one doesn't believe in it, that is different, but it is experimented truth that the population control can be done through intervention in many other sectors. If you are having good investment in the social sectors, particularly education and health, and then employment generation and all, population will be automatically controlled. Now, this population and like the problem, why we consider that population is problem? Because we believe that the earth system is having limited production capacity, and population increasing is very high rate, like exponential growth is there, but the resource generation is arithmetic progression is there. So it is not, resource or food production is not growing at a very faster rate as compared to the population. So there will be a point where the population growth will be much more than the accumulation of wealth, and as a result there will be some problem. That is the popular belief. Now, from here, I am coming to the sustainability. So what is the sustainability? Sustainability, basically, sustainable development is basically the idea where you are believing in a situation where the present generation have enough to consume, not compromising the need of the future generation. So you should not consume so much of resources so that your future generation is not having enough to consume. So if you are consuming more and earth system is producing less, then there will be crisis of resources. But if you are consuming less, leaving behind enough for your future generation, that is the kind of sustainability. Now, in order to understand this sustainability, one particular terminology is very important, that is the ecological footprint. What kind of lifestyle we are measuring, we are living, and because of that, how much footprint we are putting on the ecology. So if our footprint is very, very strong, very deep and strong, then resource will dwindle down, resource will reduce. But if our footprint is not that deep, because of certain kind of lifestyle, then the earth's resources will last for longer period of time. So it is the total population, how much population are there, what is the resource generation capacity, what kind of technology you are using, and how much consumption you are doing, per capita consumption. Based on that, this ecological footprint will be there. So there is a term called global hectare. So how much global hectare is available and how much you are using, that one has to be one has to understand and one has to care for. So related to this, there is a term called Earth's overshoot day. So Earth system has got certain capacity to produce resources, and then there is certain number of population and they are consuming. So let's say the total resources that are being created by Earth system, if the total population of the world are consuming in 1 year, so that is the equilibrium kind of situation. Means whatever you are producing, you are consuming. But let's say what Earth system can produce in 1 year, if population are consuming within 6 months, half of the year. So rest half of the year, you have to leave on overdraft. In the global ecological system, overdraft doesn't mean that you can borrow from somewhere. For example, let's say, for ease of understand, suppose your family earns 50,000 rupees a month and spends 50,000 rupees a month. So you are having balanced kind of situation. Your family and second family earns 50,000 rupees a month and spends, let's say, 30,000 rupees a month. So there is a saving of 20,000 rupees a month. So that means with 1 month salary, you can live more than 1 month period. But if your income, third family, let's say, the income is 50,000, and that 50,000 income is consumed within some, let's say, 20 days time. So 30 days income you are consuming within 20 days time. So you have to overdraft for 20 days. You have to survive on the income of others for rest of the 20 days. Now, what is this income of others? Suppose your father has saved money for you, he has created wealth for you, so you can invest that, you can sell that property and can survive for 10 days. So if your consumption pattern is such that you are consuming more as compared to what you produce, you have to survive on overdraft. But in Earth system, the overdraft doesn't mean that you can borrow from somewhere. We don't have that knowledge that we can borrow from some extraterrestrial system or some other planet. Till now, we don't have that system. So what you will be doing, you will be over exploiting the resources. So 1 month production, 1 year production you are consuming, let's say, in 6 months. So next 6 months you will be over exploiting the resources, and that over exploiting the resources actually creates problem in the form of environmental degradation and all sort of problems that happens. That is because of the overdraft that we are doing. Now we are having certain bio capacity, that is the production capacity, that depends on the area and bioproductivity. How productive is your land and water body and all, and how much area you are having. So based on that, you are having bio capacity, that is the supply side. You are having demand side, that is the ecological footprint. Ecological footprint is it depends on the total population, how much population is there. What is the consumption pattern per person, how much you are consuming. You all of you know that you can survive without AC also, you can survive without car also, you can survive without eating, let's say, non-vegetarian, you can survive without let's say having multiple car. But many people are having multiple car, many people are unnecessarily they run their air condition. You do not require air condition to run in your car, still you run air condition. So that is the meaning of consumption pattern. What is the consumption pattern? And the footprint intensity, that depends on what kind of technology you are using. All of you will agree with me that some car give mileage, let's say in 1 liter petrol it runs for 8 kilometers, some other car it runs for 18 kilometers, some other car run for let's say 12 kilometers. So that is the meaning of footprint intensity, what kind of technology you are using, so that what is the consumption pattern of resources. So you had a situation where the biocapacity was more and demand was less, but people started consuming more and more. And there is a critical point when your consumption exceeds the capacity, and over a period of time this biocapacity is also reducing. Why biocapacity is reducing? Because of the land use change and the harm, environmental harm that the human being is creating, and because of that biocapacity is reducing. You are having area but it is not productive, things like that. You are having a lot of pollutions and all, because of that biocapacity is reducing. So still you had excess of biocapacity and low demand, and there is a critical point where the demand is exceeding the biocapacity. So you started over exploiting the resources. This is the overdraft kind of situation that I told you. Okay, so you are having overshoot type. This is the overshoot point where the demand is more than the capacity. Now if you see over a period of time, you will be finding that this overshoot day, as I told you, that 1 year production, in how many days or how many months you are consuming. So let's say if you see Earth overshoot day of the year 2021, it was 29th July. So 29th July was the overshoot day. That means still in the 1 year period, whatever Earth system has produced, human being has consumed within 29th of July, from 1st January to 29th July. So you can see that around 5 months period, you survived in overdraft, that this kind of situation. So demand is more, supply is less, so you are over exploiting the resources. And now you see the next year 2022, and you are finding it is 28th July. Okay, that means the overshoot day is slowly and slowly coming towards the 1st January. It is shifting towards 1st January, and that is very, very alarming kind of situation. This is 1971 to 22 Earth overshoot day, the day which was very close to 31st December. Now it is, you can see it is the halfway, that 28th July or 29th July that I said. So there was a period where you could survive with the 1 year production, you could survive for entire year. And then over a period of time, instead of 12 months, let's say it is 11 months and 10 months and 9 months, and now it is 6 months or 7 months. So it is only 7 months you can survive with the income of 10 months. So it is a overdraft kind of situation. And as I told you, in the Earth system, there is no overdraft facility. You cannot earn resources from anywhere else. So you have to overexploit the resources. So if this resource can be compared with battery, so you charged your battery for 1 year, and then you could survive till 31st December, entire year. But now it is like you have charged your battery for 1 year, but it will survive only till, let's say, 29th July or 28th July, because you are over exploiting your battery. So because of heavy duty, this kind of situation is happening. Now, if you see different countries, then you will be finding very interesting picture. There are many countries whose overshoot day is very close to 31st December. For example, let's say Jamaica. Jamaica is a country, Central American country, where you are having the Earth overshoot day, which is very close to 31st December. It is 20th December. That means in 1 year period, whatever they can produce, they are consuming till 20th of December. So nearly, let's say, 11 months, 20 days. But some other country, let's say Qatar. Qatar is a country whose overshoot day is 10th February. So what Qatar can produce in 1 year, they are consuming only in 1 month, 10 days. Only in 40 days they are consuming. So that consumption of battery you can understand. For 1 year, charging is there, but they are consuming only in 40 days. Take the example of Luxembourg. It is 14th February is the overshoot day. And similarly, there are other countries like Canada, United Arab Emirates, then United States, where 30th March is the Earth overshoot day. So they are not whatever in 1 year they produce, they are consuming before the quarter of the year, before 3 months, completion of 3 months only they are consuming. So their consumption rate is so high. So if you are having that kind of situation, see, this is a country, Dutch nation, where 12th April is the Earth overshoot day. It means that if all the people of the world are having their lifestyle of Dutch, then you could require 3.6 Earths. 1 Earth resources are not sufficient to make you survive for 1 year. You should have 3.6 Earth if all the people are having lifestyle like Dutch people. Okay, so it is the consumption, resource consumption, which is very, very important. There is something called global hectare. Global hectare is the total biocapacity divided by total population. That will give you a unit known as global hectare. So you are having certain countries where if you are having that kind of lifestyle, then you will be requiring more than 6 global hectare per capita. What is the availability? Availability is somewhere around 1.63. 1.63 global hectare is available on an average for every human being. But if you are having lifestyle of people like USA and Canada, Australia and Kuwait, then you will be requiring more than 6 global hectare. So you will be requiring probably more than 3 planets. So similarly, if you are having lifestyle like Norway, Sweden, and New Zealand, Israel, and all, your global hectare requirement is somewhere around 4 to 6. So you will be requiring probably 3 planets. Okay, and there are certainly countries where the requirement is much less. That is, the consumption pattern is much less. So if you are having that kind of lifestyle, then you can survive with the only 1 planet. So if your requirement is less than 2 global hectare, then probably 1 planet will be sufficient for you. So countries like India, Haiti, Cuba, Ecuador, Mali, and Philippines and all, these are some of the countries where the global hectare consumption is less than 2 global hectare, and because of that, if you are having that kind of lifestyle, 1 planet will be enough. here you can see in this map, you can see that these are the colors which is showing that the ecological footprint is exceeding biocapacity. So the red and yellow, all these countries are having much higher consumption as compared to these countries where biocapacity exceeding ecological footprint. So their consumption is less, but production capacity is more, and because of that you are having these green patches, where red patches are indicating that your consumption pattern is higher as compared to the production system. This is I'm not discussing now. Just take one particular consumption. Here I have shown this electricity consumption in terms of kilowatt hours, and you can see that some of the countries consumption is so high, like Iceland, Norway. These are the cold countries. Fine, one may say that because of their environment they require to consume more electricity. But the country like Qatar, I told you their Earth Overshoot Day is 10th February. Why? Because they consume so much. So you can see the consumption pattern, 16,000 plus. You compare with, let's say, China, it is 5,000 plus. So Qataris, on an average, Qataris electricity consumption is roughly more than three times of the China people. Okay, so you are having differential consumption pattern in the different world, and the primary problem lies in the lifestyle and consumption pattern, not probably because of the high population that we are having all the problems. At least I do not belong to those group of the people who believe that population is the only problem. It is not the population, rather it is the distribution of resources and consumption of the resources that is more problem. I'll show further some of the evidences where you will be finding that the consumption is a very, very serious problem. This is not true map, but the size of the country is with respect to the ecological footprint. You are having population and you are having footprint. So you can see the large countries, very large country which has become smaller, and the smaller country has become very large because their footprint is very very high. So this map is the size of the country is based on the ecological footprint. So you can say that all the African countries and Latin American countries, that means the poor countries, their size has reduced. You can see the Africa has become so thin. And you compare the northwestern European countries and USA and Canada, you can see they have bulged up because their consumption is very, very high. Now this is data taken from a book, Political Ecology, written by Paul Robbins. Now there are certain selected resources. One is meat, and then paper, and then water, energy, and carbon emission. Now you see, one may say that the meat consumption, many countries like India, many people do not eat meat. That is fine. So you may say that because of the food preference, we are having lesser consumption of meat. That is fine. But what about paper? What about water? What about energy and the carbon emission? Now you can see that here I am having comparison between India and USA, and you find that on an average, USA people are consuming 25 times more meat, 60 times more paper, roughly 3 times more water, 15 times more energy, and 20 times more they release carbon in the atmosphere. So you can see that it is, though India is having large population, but India's population is not that much problem to the environment so far the sustainable development is concerned and sustainability of environment is concerned. India's population is not putting that much pressure in the environment what USA people are putting, because their consumption rate is much higher than the Indian population or like other low developed countries population. Now I was saying that we are having certain fixed population, we are having earth resources, we are having certain biocapacity, but the problem is not the population. As I told you, the problem is the you can say the the gap between the need and greed. You know that we are having sufficient, Earth system is having sufficient to fulfill the need of the people, but Earth system certainly doesn't have sufficient to fulfill the greed of all the people. So if you see at today's time, you will be finding that the inequality among the people is increasing. And this inequality and not having sufficient investment in the social sectors like health and education, job creation, training and all, this is a very, very serious problem. And you will be finding that over a period of time, this inequality is actually increasing. This is the global income and wealth inequality in 2021. This is taken from Indian Express newspaper, and you can see so much of inequality is there. You would see the figure top 1%. So top 1%, and you compare it with bottom 50%. So bottom 50% have 2% wealth, and top 1% have 38% wealth. So this is the global situation. So much of inequality is there. So when environmental protection would be luxury to the rich people, it is the question of survival of these people, where they are not in a position to have even 2 squares of meal. So these people will be always thinking of surviving somehow. And that survival, the finding out of livelihood, sometimes you may consider that that is harmful to the nature, because they are, let's say, they are going to forest, and then they are collecting certain forest products, and that is harming the forest. You may think that way. But who has created this inequality? Top 1% people are having 38% of the wealth, and bottom 50% population is having only 2% of the wealth. Till this kind of inequality is there, the environmental protection and having healthy environment is a very, very serious kind of problem. Now let us move to the sort of like regions. It is the global scenario. Now you see different regions, and you will be finding that the top 10% of the people are having roughly 40 to 60% wealth, and it is the global phenomena across the countries, across the region, everywhere it is there. It is not only in India or in the Indian subcontinent, almost everywhere it is there. You can see that top 1% population in different region are having wealth roughly 40% to 60%. Now you see the India's condition. Now this is taken from Business Today during year 2000 to 2021. How have we moved in terms of equality? You see, we are having very nice and polished kind of slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Yes, it is desirable, but how far we have been in a position to meet the dream of the people in terms of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas? You can see we are having this year 2000 to 2021 data, where you can see that this 1% top rich people who had 23.5% wealth during the year 2020, year 2000, it has increased to 33%. So during around 20 years, you are having so much of income accumulation that has happened with the top 1% people. And what happened to the bottom 50% people? Population, you had roughly 8.3% wealth in the year 2000. Now it is only 5.9 wealth. So it is the driving out, or you can say it is the siphoning out of resources, it is the siphoning out of wealth from the poor people and giving it to the rich people. And because of that, rich people have become richer and poor people have become poorer. Now, this is symbolic only. This is taken from some website. I do not remember exactly. I forgot to note it down also. So on the one hand, you are having this kind of luxury. On the other hand, you are having a person with nothing. This is a photograph taken from a place very close to Bolpur in West Bengal. You know Shantiniketan. So around 15-20 kilometers from Shantiniketan, I took a photograph when I was there with my students for field work. So you are having this kind of contrast where some people are having everything and some people are have just nothing. So if you have this type of situation, probably environmental protection and attaining sustainability becomes a very, very serious problem. The latest Oxfam report, all of you might be familiar with. It is the in the year 2000, beginning of 2023, this report came, and the report is, it is so disturbing that it is saying that richest 21 Indian billionaires are having wealth more than 7 million Indians. So what 50% people of India, roughly 75%, 75 crore population, or at least 70 crore population, what wealth we have, 21 richest billionaire are having so much of wealth. So attaining sustainability in this kind of unequal world is simply not possible. And when we are blaming the population to be main culprit for the environmental degradation and not having attaining sustainability is a very, very serious problem of thought and like understanding. I believe it is not true. It is the inequality. It is not having sufficient investment in the social sector, in the health and education and skill development, training, education, etc. If you are not having sufficient investment, problem cannot be solved. So now we'll be Nitikant ji, are you present? Nitikant ji? Hello? Are you present, Nitikant ji?
Yes, sir.
What time to have break and how much time? I think
Sir,
what
5 o'clock.
Yes, no, 5 o'clock is the end. That I know. That I know.
Sir, we can take a break of 15 minutes maybe now.
Yes, we can have, and particularly for those friends who are having little problem of understanding or not having this type of background, and language might be problem for some people. So let us start some kind of discussion for 10-15 minutes, 15-20 minutes.
Yes.
Then we'll be having break, and then we'll start, and at the end again there will be discussion. So now I request particularly my friends who are having Hindi background, Hindi speakers, you please ask any questions related to what I said, and then we'll take a little break, and then we'll start again. So madam, I do not remember her name. So any question, any part of the lecture, if you are not in a position to understand or you require some kind of clarification, please ask me. I'll try to speak in Hindi. Yes, madam.
जी सर।
Yes. आप जो भी क्वेश्चन हो, जो भी आपका मतलब दिल चाहे पूछने का, आप पूछ सकते हैं. I'll try my level best to reply.
जी सर, मैं बताती हूँ, देखती हूँ
जी. और भी बाकी लोग भी कुछ भी whatever I have said, whatever I have presented, if there is any question, any doubt, any you can contradict also, no problem.
ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಮರೀತಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ.
Yes, please. आप जरा नाम बताएंगे आपका.
Your point is absolute. My name is Sharat Sonkusle from Dada Lakshmi State University of Performing and Visual Art. You are absolutely right, sir. Your all points are very valid.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
जी बोलिए.
So myself Raksha Gupta from DAV PG College, Gorakhpur.
Oh,
Sir, I was listening to your lecture and you mentioned about ecological footprints.
yes.
I wanted to ask what can be the steps to reduce these ecological footprints if we say an individual at an individual level? What can we do?
मैडम अगर मैं ये कहूं कि मैं क्या क्या करता हूं तो मेरे
Yes,
ख्याल
sir.
से दैट डजंट लुक गुड। आप शायद सोचेंगे कि आई एम लाइक हाईलाइटिंग माई सेल्फ, लेकिन फिर भी मैं एक दो चीज मैं आपको बताऊं।
Sir.
आप शायद यकीन करेंगे कि पिछले साल लास्ट ईयर समर we had 45 degree temperature in Kolkata.
It is more
Still,
to introduce
still I didn't run my AC.
minutes.
AC is available in my office
Yes,
chamber,
sir.
but I didn't run my AC. अब ये क्यों नहीं किया? I wanted to impress upon, I wanted to create example to my students that one can survive without AC also. अब देखिए मैंने जो कहा ना कि रिसोर्स कंजम्पशन पैटर्न, पर कैपिटा रिसोर्स कंजम्पशन आप कितना करते हैं, ये तो दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन योर लाइफ स्टाइल ऑल्सो। इफ यू वांट टू
No, sir.
एक मिनट मुझे बोलने
No,
दीजिए, फिर
sir.
आप हेलो। तो आप अपने हिसाब से लाइफ स्टाइल आप तैयार कर सकते हैं। आपको एक मोहन जी you are continuously speaking when your microphone is on. तो आपका जो लाइफ स्टाइल है तो अपने हिसाब से आप कर सकते हैं। आप एसी चलाएंगे या नहीं, आप कार से आपके डिपार्टमेंट आपके कॉलेज में आएंगे या नहीं। I have made lot of calculations. Let me tell you, for Calcutta, I am having data related to number of different kind of vehicles and all, and then I collected data related to how much is the energy consumption of different type of cars, and then I averaged it out per kilometer, how much energy you consume if you are traveling by individual vehicle kind of thing versus if you are traveling by public vehicle. आप शायद यकीन नहीं करेंगे, मेरा हिसाब ये कहता है कि इफ यू आर ट्रेवलिंग बाय इंडिविजुअल व्हीकल एंड इफ यू आर ट्रेवलिंग बाय पब्लिक व्हीकल लाइक बस, ट्राम, समथिंग लाइक दैट, I have calculated for public buses. So you will be consuming roughly 16 times more energy if you are traveling by private car. You will be occupying 14 times more road space. हमारे जो रोड में कंजेशन होता है ना, ये तो हम अपना है, आप खुद करते हैं हम लोग। When you are having option to go to your office, your college, your institution by bus, you are riding your own car. We Indians are very fond of showmanship. We want to show that I am having a luxury car, I am having a costly car, expensive car. We want to see the show.
Exactly.
तो सर आप मैडम आप अगर अब इस तरह से सोचिए, आपका जो कलकत्ता का मैं एग्जांपल देता हूं, कलकत्ता में रोड स्पेस जो है, do you know that it is only 6% of the geographical area of KMC, Calcutta Municipal Corporation, that is devoted for road. और हमारे यहाँ हॉकार और वेंडर का ऐसा मतलब सिस्टम है कि आउट ऑफ 6%, at least you can say like one third to one fourth are occupied by hawkers and vendors. तो फिर हमारे पास जो इफेक्टिव रोड स्पेस है as compared to total geographical area, it cannot be more than 4%. Roughly let's say 4% geographical area जो है रोड के लिए है। अच्छा, एक हेल्दी सिटी के लिए कितना चाहिए? Central Road Research Institute says that you require at least 18% of your geographical area under road. हमारे पास 6 था, 1/3, वो भी कम हो गया, 4% हो गया। अब 4% जो है 18 का कितना है आप जोड़ लीजिए। It is not even 1/4 of the requirement, isn't it? It is not even 1/4 of the requirement. अच्छा, अब कभी-कभी हम लोग सोचते हैं कि if we have to reach to our workplace, timely, we require individual vehicle. If you depend on bus, then you may not be in a position to reach timely. मैं सोचता हूं कि इसमें आप विशियस साइकिल में फंस जाते हैं। आप चाहते हैं कि हम जल्दी पहुंचेंगे, तो उसमें क्या होता है, आप और भी ज्यादा कंजेशन तैयार करते हैं। बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू दैट इफ यू आर ट्रेवलिंग बाय बस वर्सेस यू आर ट्रेवलिंग बाय इंडिविजुअल कार, you will be occupying 14% more road space. This calculation I have done with all relaxations, all sort of relaxation. Actual calculation इससे भी ज्यादा होगा। आप अगर 14% more road space कवर करेंगे, ऑक्युपाई करेंगे, तो कंजेशन कम कैसे होगा? अब बताइए, कभी हो सकता है? So more people use individual car, more congestion will be there, and you will be more late to reach to your workplace. There is no doubt about it. इससे किसी भी हद, मतलब किसी तरह से मुझे आप डिस्प्रूव नहीं कर सकते। Until and unless your city is having very wider road, there is no congestion, nothing, fine. हो सकता है कि आप अपना इंडिविजुअल व्हीकल में जल्दी चले जाएंगे, क्योंकि नॉन स्टॉप अप जाएंगे। ऑर्डिनरी जो प्लान्ड सिटी नहीं है, बहुत वाइड रोड नहीं है, ऑर्डिनरी सिटी की मैं बात कर रहा हूं, आप इंडिविजुअल व्हीकल इस्तेमाल करेंगे तो आपका कंजेशन और ज्यादा होगा, वर्क प्लेस में जाने में और दिक्कत होगा आपको। तो इस तरह से छोटे छोटे चीज है जो हम कर सकते हैं। आप इस तरह से क्यों बिल्डिंग डिजाइन करते हैं जिसमें एसी इज ए मस्ट? हमारे कोलकाता के सिचुएशन में मैं बता रहा हूँ, वी कैन सर्वाइव वेरी मच विदाउट एसी, लेट्स से अराउंड 8 to 9 months we can survive without AC, no problem. Say 8-9 months without AC हम आराम से, at least half of the year without AC आप survive कर सकते हैं। लेकिन कभी ऐसा भी देखा जाता है कि your building is constructed such a way that you cannot survive without AC even in the winter season. Mild winter also you cannot survive, deep winter also you cannot survive without AC, क्योंकि आपके सफोकेशन होगा, आपके वेंटिलेशन है ही नहीं, आपके बिल्डिंग इस तरह से डिजाइन किया गया है। So when you are designing your building, please take care of these things. So इस तरह से मैं तो एक दो चीज कहा आपको, इस तरह से कई सारे चीज हो सकता है कि at individual level you can take initiatives which will help you to consume lesser quantity of resources, and because of that there will be less stress on the environment. तो हो सकता है।
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
हाँ, हेलो सर।
जी
हाँ, नमस्कार सर। सर आपने ये जो बताया TFR, टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट, जो 1970 के बाद इतनी तेजी से गिर रहा है, डेटा आपने पूरा दिया सर, तो क्या ये भी कहीं ना कहीं अलार्मिंग साइन नहीं है? क्योंकि इससे भी पॉपुलेशन का जो बैलेंस है, वो ओल्डर पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है, यंगर।
जी मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको। आपका जियोग्राफी या इस तरह का सोशियोलॉजी, जियोग्राफी, डेमोग्राफी, इस तरह का बैकग्राउंड है? क्या बैकग्राउंड है बताइए, उस हिसाब से मैं बताऊंगा।
नहीं सर, मेडिकल फील्ड है, आयुर्वेद।
हाँ, तो मेडिकल तो फिर मेरे ख्याल से मुझसे भी ज्यादा आप जानेंगी। फिर भी मैं बता रहा हूँ, यस इट इज अलार्मिंग, इट इज अलार्मिंग। आप देखिए, हम जो एक बच्चे के पीछे इतना तेजी से भाग रहे हैं ना, दैट विल क्रिएट ए वेरी वेरी सीरियस प्रॉब्लम। We should not go for one child, 2 child, it is fine, but please don't, like, there should not be mass movement that people are going for only one child. आपको मालूम होंगे, अब तो मैडम आप डॉक्टर है, जापान में एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन का परसेंटेज कितना है? वहां 41%, 65 इयर्स प्लस में 41% पॉपुलेशन। हम जो मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन को जो सेकंड से होगा, दूसरा भाग होगा, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड। तो उसमें मैं कहूंगा इस तरह सारे के चीज कि अगर आपका डिपेंडेंसी, तो बच्चे ज्यादा होने से भी डिपेंडेंसी होता है, हो सकता है हायर डिपेंडेंसी, और बुजुर्ग लोग ज्यादा होने से भी डिपेंडेंसी हायर हो सकता है. सो बोथ सिचुएशन इज नॉट डिजायरेबल. Desirable situation is such that where you are having more working age population.
जी.
अब क्या हुआ कि हमारे देश में तो वर्किंग एज पॉपुलेशन अभी फिलहाल ज्यादा है, लेकिन किसी के पास कोई काम है ही नहीं
जी.
ये तो बहुत बड़ा दिक्कत है. तो you are very much true that we should not run for lowering down of our TFR further. अभी ऑलरेडी 1.9 हो गया है. अगर उससे भी ज्यादा हम कम करने का कोशिश करें, so we'll be in trouble after around 40-50 years. We'll be having very large elderly population. उसको कहाँ ले जाएंगे, कौन आश्रम में भेजेंगे और किस होम में भेजेंगे? इफ देयर आर, आप इस तरह से सोचिए, कभी कभी ऐसा भी है कि मान लीजिए you and your husband, two people earning members are there, and then let's say you are having 2 children and you are having 2 parents. So कितने डिपेंडेंट लोग हो गया? 6 डिपेंडेंट लोग और 2 earning members. It will be a very very difficult situation, and it is not only in terms of money. आप बुजुर्गों को देखभाल भी तो करना है ना, कौन देखभाल करेगा?
जी.
If you are sending them to home, that is different thing. If you want to keep along with you, so we'll take care of them. So the idea of single child, already China तो कोशिश किया था ना, देखा ना आपने कि वो they are forced to come out of that policy.
जी सर.
तो ये हमारे एक तरह से कह सकते कि नासमझी है, हम समझते नहीं इसलिए. और दूसरी बात है, इसमें तो मैडम बहुत डीप रूटेड पॉलिटिक्स है. आप तो मेरे ख्याल से समझ ही होंगे कि ये जो हमारे वो पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल बिल आने का बात हो रहा है, जो इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, किस लिए हुआ है? इट इज इन ऑर्डर टू गैदरिंग वोट ओनली, सपोर्ट ऑफ पीपल, नथिंग एल्स. देयर इज नो डेमोग्राफिक लॉजिक. एब्सोल्युटली देयर इज नो डेमोग्राफिक लॉजिक.
Absolutely right, sir.
You ask any leading demographer of India. मैं कुछ नाम बताऊं आपको, जैसे कि जेम्स साहब है वो IIPS का, या प्रोफेसर कुलकर्णी, या प्रोफेसर भगत, या प्रोफेसर अलोका बसु USA में है. कुछ दिन पहले उनका वो वियना इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ डेमोग्राफी में उनका मैं लेक्चर सुन रहा था. मेरा अपना PhD में आई एम थैंकफुल टू प्रोफेसर अलोका बसु. उनसे मैं बहुत सीखा हूँ मेरा PhD के लिए, और मैं इनकॉर्पोरेट किया है हर आइडिया. तो अलोका बसु का आप देखिए, एनी रेप्यूटेड डेमोग्राफर, उनका जो किताब है या आर्टिकल है आप पढ़िए, तो नोबॉडी विल एडवोकेट फॉर सिंगल चाइल्ड. किसी भी हालत में वो नहीं कहेंगे. और वो जो very fast growth of population and population explosion, and because of population explosion our economic condition is very poor, no demographer will say. It is the politician who is saying. And many a time we people do not understand, we do not have information, demographic information. And sometimes madam क्या होता है ना कि देखने के नजरिया भी तो एक चीज होता है. आप प्रॉपर पर्सपेक्टिव में अगर ना समझे तो फिर बहुत ही तो डिफिकल्ट है. जैसे कि आप तो डॉक्टर है, आप जानते ही होंगे, मेरे ख्याल से आप जानेंगे कि ये जो पॉलीगैमी इज द कॉज ऑफ हायर ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, दिस इज बेसिकली नॉनसेंस आइडिया.
जी सर.
Even an idiot demographer will never say that polygamy is the higher growth rate, cause of higher growth rate population. लेकिन लोगों का विश्वास है, आप क्या करेंगे? जो लोगों का विश्वास है वो तो डेमोग्राफर का सुनेंगे नहीं, वो तो सुनेंगे पॉलिटिशियन को, है ना. प्रॉब्लम उस जगह है. तो ठीक है, डॉक्टर नीतिकांत जी आप हैं अभी? हेलो, ऐसा करते हैं अभी अराउंड 10 मिनट्स
15 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं सर.
जी.
ओके नो सर.
सो विल
यस सर.
इज 40 में, फिर 3:40 में शुरू करेंगे. ठीक है.
यस सर.
ओके, श्योर सर.
3:40 में शुरू करेंगे. ओके,
थैंक यू.